situation occurring at 2:26 p.m. We get a 911 call to Davison and St. Albans on a suicide in progress. The officers from the 11th precinct arrive within 5 minutes. Upon arrival, they hear gunshots. The suspect is identified as a member of our department. He is a member of our special response team. He is off duty. He is threatening suicide. He is asking for suicide by cop. He is struggling with a mental crisis. Tragically, we are not immune to mental crisis. We're just like everyone else. Our officers deal with this every single day. He is shooting in the air. The officers check the area, but when they hear the gunshots, they retreat and take cover because they recognize that he has a high-powered rifle. He approaches the vehicle that they are taking cover behind. He shoots the vehicle in the rear of the vehicle multiple times. He strikes two of our officers, one in the leg and one in the thigh area. One officer returns fire, fatally wounding the officer in question. A very tragic situation. I will not be releasing a lot of detailed information at this time out of respect for the family and the members of our department until everyone is notified. With that, I'll bring it, Mr. Mayor.
The worst call I get is one that says officers have been shot. And we are fortunate today that the two officers who were responding appear that their injuries are not life-threatening, but it's a reminder of the courage. What the officers, this department, show every day. They went to that scene knowing they were going to be confronted by a highly trained and armed officer in the department who was having significant mental issue. The courage they showed in the way that they responded, and the fact that one of our officers who was shot returned fire and ultimately shot the perpetrator. It's a tragedy for the city, but it's just a reminder that every Detroiter should just be enormously grateful for the commitment of the service, the men and women of this department. With that, I'll turn it back to the Chief for questions.
Chief, I have a question. Obviously this is really hard for all your department. How are you guys taking this news?
Well, it's extremely tragic. I mean, it speaks to that we're not immune to the mental health crisis in this city, in our country, in our state. It affects everybody, including law enforcement officers. But as the mayor said, I mean, the officers that responded were heroes. Once they recognized it was one of our own members, they still had to do their job and make sure that everyone else was safe. We're going to have grief counseling for our officers. We're going to have, work with the family and make sure that they get what they need. But it's just a horrible day.
What about reports that this individual, the officer that was, suicidal, that he was upset with DPD about, maybe not receiving care or?
Yeah, he had a degenerative condition. He was off work for a while. He was restricted. He was working, but he was restricted. But as recent as October 3rd, he went back full duty. So we were hoping that things were moving in the right direction. He had the full support. He got the support he needed from the unit that he was assigned to. He said a lot of things. Some didn't line up, but he's in mental crisis, so you would expect that. But we're going to look at all of that as we get into the investigation. The investigation is going to be handled by the Michigan State Police in totality, but we will look at anything that comes from that. We'll be looking at some of the things he said, but as I indicated, a lot of them really didn't line up. He was just kind of talking through a number of different things over a course of many years.
Chief, were the responding officers familiar? Did they know the officer that was in distress?
I don't know that. I don't know if they knew him personally or not.
When did they find out that he was an officer?
I would imagine when they arrived, they knew he was a police officer.
Was he in uniform?
Yes, he was.
Did he have any mental health history with the department, or were you aware of any mental illness?
No mental health issues, no previous mental health issues at all. Like I said, he had a physical condition that I won't get into other than to say it was a very serious degenerative condition that he was working through. But he was full duty as of October 3rd, and he from what I understand, I don't know him personally, but from what I understand, that was a positive thing for him. But we'll get into that a little bit more with his family.
And is there any other information you could share about the injury update on those two officers?
My understanding is that they're stable. I'll be visiting them once we leave here to check on them. But that's all we have right now.
Anybody? This was his house, correct?
No,
Not
this
his
was
house.
an area at St. Aubin and Davison. I believe that's the Highland Park Water Tower area, or used to be their headquarters or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it was not his house.
And he was by himself.
He was by himself.
Was he working?
He was not. He was off duty.
Had he been working earlier today at all? Or?
No.
And can you say his age or how long he's been?
45 and 11 years, 12 years,
13.
13.
Was he assigned to a precinct?
No, special response team.
Can you tell us a little bit what the special response team responds to?
Well, they handle the most sensitive cases. They go after the most violent perpetrators. They go to barricaded gun people. They go to people who are barricaded in homes and in buildings, such as he was. Active shooters. They're highly trained, which again speaks to the courage of the officers. They are extraordinarily trained in what they do, and they get some of the best training that we have to offer. So,
Thank you, guys.
all right.